Okay.
Right.
Yep. Wait.
So some of these have springs in the front, and I have a oh no, a lab where we do conservation of energy, but so you can do gravitational potential, elastic, and kinetic. Then look at it. These where we launch them sideways up a ramp.
Oh.
And the data's terrible, but friction. So. And then I think on the other side,
More
are
parts
just
and more of those round
parts,
tables.
more, yes.
So at some point we can get rid of those round things because I think
Yeah,
I
probably.
didn't use them either 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. In that room, because I'll do some of that room too, there's even more stuff that probably can get rid of. Under here, fluids and mysterious things. When I had Physics 2 would do fluids, and I had them do a design lab project. So if they want weird fluids, mostly I made them bring it in, but there's some things in here. And then these I mostly used when we would put weird fluids in, which as a hint, when you're doing weird fluids for a lab or a mystery fluid, I would recommend using either water or salt water with food coloring to make it look mysterious. Don't try vegetable oil because it's a mess. I tried that. It didn't actually go well.
It didn't go well.
No. Here's flashlights that we never use.
Oh, those are the strobe lights.
Yeah, and strobe lights that I didn't use.
Okay. Yeah, those are from old equipment from Physics of Technology.
Oh, yeah.
That's what that stuff is. So.
Ticker timers that I think regular physics uses. I don't have.
You don't use ticker timers?
AP anymore. Although I think with my sub on maternity leave, they tried to do a ticker timer lab. Solenoids and magnetism in here. And I've got little labels on these, but mostly should have everything. More magnets. There's a thing to magnetize materials here, so if, because this is probably not the best way to store a bunch of magnets in here, if things are not as magnetized, follow these directions, and you can make them be magnetic more. There's a magnetism station lab, which is mostly kind of some things over here, but that uses the sheet protectors in here, and then I think I've got numbered pieces of paper for the various stations there. So it's kind of like this. I know this is part of it too. In there when you get to magnetism. In here is mostly the Hot Wheels tracks and Hot Wheels cars. And then I put 2 blow dryers in there that I have a lab on thermodynamics where you blow dry carpet, which is in Brian's intelligence room.
The carpet is? Okay.
Pulleys in here. All sorts. These are probably the finest pulleys. So if someone else is trying to borrow them, you can encourage them towards other pulleys if you're using pulleys at the time. You don't need to hoard the pulleys if you're not using them, but a lot of the time they hit
together.
Little
hoardings, okay.
This is mysterious things that I didn't really use. They're like washers if you need more washers for things. Are in there.
Mysterious things.
I think it's labeled miscellaneous. Both whoever put these
me.
labels, you and me,
yeah, okay.
made that a miscellaneous drawer. These are, let's see, our circular motion kits. So you swing them around your head, which is pretty much the only time I had kids wear goggles. In there, and then this is lots of optic stuff. So, Amanda put in some matches and candles.
Oh, the candles we're going to put in here.
Yeah, I'm going to put these candles in here. And then some spring scales.
Do you use spring scales much or force probes mostly?
I mostly use force probes. If everybody, since a lot of the time, regular physics, honors physical science, and AP and regular physical science all hit forces at the same time. Sometimes I use those just so kids can be aware of what a spring scale is and see, like, maybe one lab, pull it out. Or I think I've used them on a demo because it's just easier than, if I'm just kind of doing quick data. So not really, but every once in a while. In here are a bunch of things. So for our MacGyver spring pendulum lab when you do simple harmonic motion. You have the plate for them to stand on, and then also the door for them to enter the code. Here's the springs that go with that, and then I also have a fluid spring lab, which is why they're dyed colors, because they might have been in a mystery fluid of salt and red food coloring. There. These are various rubber bands that you can use to launch things in the air. So we mostly use these. There's a target practice lab. That's projectiles in two. When you do projectiles in 2 dimensions, that we'd use these for mostly for that. And then the other bag of springs are for when we do spring constant. They're different sizes, and you can pull them on a spring scale too. Random toys on springs to do fun demos. Bungee cord kind of for a demo. And then I don't know if you would use these in regular physics. Or in AP Physics 1, I use them in AP Physics 2. But what they are, you set it here, clamp it on there, and then it has this adjust, and you can put a marble here, and then have a marble go down the ramp there. And so what this is nice for is conservation of momentum in a complex collision in 2 dimensions, and then you can make it fall. And there's a lab for that.
And then do you use, for when it hits the ground, do you use
carbon
paper on the ground in order to find the distance of the ball?
Yes, and to remind you of that, there's carbon paper under here, but then there's a bigger, underneath it in here, but then there's a bigger thing of carbon paper in the storage room. Also here then are stands that you can put a meter stick with one of these on. So like when we do torque and center of mass.
And then all the hangers are down there.
And all the hangers are down here.
Are those also do you also have the slides for the stuff for the, do you use optics on the meter stick in there?
Up here.
Oh, the other one up above.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this drawer is meter sticks and stopwatches mostly, and then you can try to hide the ping pongs until the last day of school, and then they can use the ping pong pens. Maybe that's what first hour did. And then other balls, some balls on strings, balls on sticks for circular motion. Under here, lots of lids of storage things that you probably don't need. Very important, the Titanic 2 for more fluids there. So there's a station MacGyver lab that has them raise the Titanic. So you can figure out the density of plastic and then steel, and then they figure out how many ping pong balls they need to put under to raise it. Let's see. Also in here then, that's another projectile motion in 2-dimension station lab where a target for you to hit with your projectile are these here.
Makes a nice sound. Did you ever use the giant concave convex mirror thing?
No.
It's fun to put your face in.
So that's under there?
Yeah, that's what that is. It's from an old projector or something.
Oh yeah.
And do you ever use the total internal reflection tubes?
No, but that would be cool.
You stick a laser in there.
Yeah, and then it just goes around.
Yeah, and then you can show with a laser, and it'll show. You can actually see the total internal reflection around the circular path.
I didn't know exactly what those were for.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Probably should have done this when you.
yeah. Another. Laser discs are here. The cards for what are the instructions for which slide they're on, and then
the player.
The player.
And I can show how to work those.
Yeah, because I had a note to myself
Right.
on what needs to be turned off and turned on.
Right,
but
and this is the giant
Remote.
remote that goes with the Laserdisc player that nobody else in the school ever uses except for the other physics teacher, maybe.
But you can kind of laugh about it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think I'm going to store these up here for models for the paper roller coasters that I had Physics 1 do at the end of the year. And then I've typically stored textbooks here. This one's probably shouldn't stay here though. Okay, so now we're entering your storeroom. So let's see. Here's a bunch of PVC things that
Like a potato cannon or something?
yeah.
But you
that I
don't
use.
You don't use it. Okay.
Here's the carbon paper I mentioned. This is a wave tank stuff that I don't use that probably if you don't
It's
use.
ancient, right?
Yeah, should be thrown out.
Is that above it too? Go with it?
Yeah. I think I kept like one set.
Okay.
There used to be like 7.
Yeah.
This is a magnetism kit, and there's more parts over there where it's set up that you can use probes with it and like wrap wires around. And here's where your probe can stick in there and do various things. Although I didn't really. I made them and then I didn't use them much. Use them a little bit. I didn't get the greatest data, so. Here's the sound box. So when you start the sound unit, I would just skip down the whole box. Mostly it has stuff for the sound station lab. But then there's a few demos, like there's a little Doppler effect thing in there as well to use. Up here, trebuchets. I didn't use these in Physics 1, mostly because the math is ugly and there's only 4. But I used them in Physics C because it's a nice like moment of inertia, conservation of energy kind of mess to solve, although then when you actually do it, you don't get very good data. But that's okay. It's the experience. Some pumps I didn't use. I think are these more of the power supplies.
Now, did you ever use those as power supplies?
So I didn't use these as power supplies. I would use these as power supplies, and then I think some of these might be like a
Some of those are multimeters too.
Yeah. So
That
mostly
they have a fuse and or a what do you call it? Circuit breaker.
Yeah.
Which are nice instead of a fuse.
Yeah. Mostly I just use the little multimeters. Yeah. And, these are new power supplies, the ones in the cardboard boxes, and I think I ordered 2 more. So I think you can do all these power supplies that you can lift with one hand as opposed to these giant heavy boxes that then some of them don't work and I don't know how to fix them. So.
And what's the wood?
I don't know. I don't.
Okay, this is don't know. This
mysterious.
Is something mysterious. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I put in.
Good parts in there. I'm sure.
Oh, it's probably. You know what I think it is? I think it's a variation of the same magnetism thing that's over there. Maybe. A bunch of stoppers.
Do you ever use the record players for
I use the record players
motion?
for circular motion. And then I also I have a broken clock there that there's a circular motion station lab that they need to measure the length of the hands of the clock. So rather than get down my clock, they can use the broken clock. Some of the records, I think these 3 all work, and then maybe one of those back ones or 2 of those back ones work. I didn't check them this past year. Some of the records have things on them, so like if they're measuring distance, it's nice to use the ones already with marks. Or there's some with like a demo to talk about dots moving, and some have masses glued to them for that same station lab to look at that. Let's see. In here, this is for nuclear. There's kind of 2 labs in here. There's a bunch of dice that they do to simulate half-life, and then for the uranium decay series cards in here. For the dice and the half-life, I think it's 40 or 50, which in theory they're all organized now, but maybe not. And when people borrow dice, then they think you have so many and they can steal them all. And then you have to hound them down. But I ordered more dice too. A few, not a ton, but enough.
So is that Geiger counter there and shielding on the top right? What is it?
Yeah, but I didn't.
You don't use
those.
that one? Okay.
I use the ones in the box over there.
Okay.
I think some mysterious sound things. Lights. This one for density because it's various masses on strings. Light, index of refraction there. Tubing. If any of the springs break, there's some more tubing to at least get through a little bit of that. And then, let's see, these drawers. Oh. Stuff I did not use in that drawer. Stuff I did not use in that
Just
drawer.
wire.
Lots of wires.
Little-
Lights in here that I did not use.
You could use them for demo, I guess,
Yeah.
for electrostatics.
Mostly empty. Things I
Nice.
did not use. Here's a drawer of things I used for sound. You can put these in those buckets with water and then get it to sound to resonate by hitting a tuning fork above, which tuning forks are in this box, and then raising it until you hear resonance. Some more sound things.
Oh yeah, do you use the?
I think Amanda did. I didn't.
Yeah, take
The
the
whirly.
thing. Yeah.
And then more sound in here with various keyboard keys, and then our noisy Bunsen burners to get with the tubes that are over there
For the
resonance.
for the big resonant tube. The foghorn.
Loud demo.
Do you use the copper tubing underneath on the floor?
Oh no.
Can you drop a magnet in that or something?
Oh yeah. I think I have a shorter one because I think that one's too long.
Okay.
I think it's over there. I would use. Because these are really tall. I think Glenn just wanted these.
Oh, okay.
And then I forgot they were stored up underneath. All the various vernier stuff. Motion sensors are the big ones here. Force plates, rotational motion here, and there. Microphones are somewhere, I think here. Oh no, there's the microphones. Force sensors, although the new ones are better. So
What are
I
the
use
new
those between Andy and Steve's
Okay.
office. There, and then I think, there's...
Are the new ones better because of the hookup? Or-
They're better because some of these have really frayed wires.
Okay.
And like pieces like this one might not work very well.
Got it.
And it doesn't have the thing to screw on top, some of them, so.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these still work, some of these don't. Some of them work.
How many do we have as a
some.
department?
Of the new ones, there's like 15 or 20 of the new ones.
Oh, okay.
And then, so it's only an issue when everybody hits force at the same time. And it's, not an issue for them. I don't think I used
Oh yeah, those
anything
are
in here.
old. Yeah.
Ever.
Oscilloscopes.
Oh,
Mm.
yes. No, I didn't use anything. I think I thought
No,
about
I think
it.
those are old things from physics of technology.
Under here, the main things I used in here to do light with lasers. In there, and then...
Are those lasers there?
These are lasers
Okay.
in here. And then in here are the nuclear things.
Okay. Is that where the Geiger counter?
There's Geiger counters in there, and then there's, I guess those are older ones, and then there's newer ones in the same office.
Okay, with the other pros.
Yep. Oh no. I don't think I've opened this in a while.
There's just some circuit boards up there. Demonstration circuit boards.
Yeah, big clamps.
Okay. Film canisters.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Not things.
Do you ever use the basketballs and the hats up there?
Yeah, I use the basketballs to do, I think just for like a demo to drop, you can have a motion sensor underneath to watch it in free fall. And then actually I'd use, there's wire, like paper trays on top to protect the motion sensor because you're dropping something on it. The hats, no, but you could use them for static electricity. And then there's frisbees that you could use for like fluids and lift. That I think Glenn would use that, but I didn't use those. Calorimeters, then next, that I think sometimes chemistry gets down. And then Van de Graaff generators, that a number are questionable.
What are to the right of the Van de Graaff generators?
I don't know.
Those, you've not used those.
I've not used that.
I think we had those again in PT, but
Yeah.
never.
Oh, and then let's see. Over here are the noisy tubes for residents. These two, and other things that I didn't use. Here's for a TWRF demo. The really long board that you can walk across if you're brave. It's not that scary, but toothpick bridge stands here. You really only need one because they build them separately and put it on for there. Fluids, if you let them do a design lab for fluids, there's various things here that they can use, mostly containers, some with holes, probably most with holes at this point. Drilled in them, including this bucket has holes of various sizes. Here's dry erase boards. So if you want to do dry erase board stations or also for targets. It's mostly probably what they got more use out of.
What's that on the counter?
A microwave.
Oh my gosh, it's cute.
This is more of the magnetism kit that goes with that here. And so some different wires, lots of little magnets in here, clamps to put the whole thing on.
And there's directions in the
Yes.
files of how to use this.
Yes. Static electricity kits, I liked these. They kind of look at fields. They can look at the fields around various things, and there's instructions for going through and using sticky tape. You can make a positive and negative tape and then look at the fields around various things with how you charge. In here, mostly the only thing I used was these that we fill with water to look at index of refraction again. But there's other things in there. Oh, and I guess, here's different objects for optics again that you can shine lasers through. And I think there's your bag of rocks over there.
From, I think we used that for
Did you say
the
you
car
dropped them
lab.
out of a car? Yeah.
Yeah, we did the pushing a car.
I didn't use this stuff, but I used here are big convex and concave mirrors. Which I just passed around to kids, and then we could admire the old pizza box. And then this is more of the magnetism kit.
Magnets from those magnetism
Yep.
kits that are on that top shelf. Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Under this thing here, mostly, I'm going to take that bag with me, is straws. Oh, and then a giant thing of wood glue. Don't forget about the wood glue.
Wood glue, yeah.
And then I'm taking the toilet paper with me, but
What about
you can have
those
them drop
tubes?
toilet
Do
paper.
you?
I didn't use those.
Okay.
And the straws are for when I do an introduction to sound, and you can make little straw whistles that they all like.
This is where all the
manometer.
desks are. You guys are hoarding all the desks.
Yeah, well, that's because my room only has 21, so they're going to go back in there. Manometer for when you do fluids. Other things on here, let's see. The main things I used here, there's some rotational motion stuff, and then the variable inertia in the box next to it. When you get to moment of inertia in physics 1, those are kind of good demo things to look at.
Is that rotational stuff to the right of it?
Yes,
okay.
but I didn't use that.
And then the bulbs and stuff in that, did you use those at all?
No.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, mostly we have, more kind of optics things that you can look at.
Diffraction?
So diffraction grating. Yeah, that's these. These to look at polarization I like to pass around so you can show that you can see through versus if you get 90 degrees you can't see anything. And the same with a sunglass lens too. It was fun. Stuff I didn't touch. Metal rods or something. More kind of optics. I think these you would use more than regular.
Those are those
physics,
just
right,
the color
with
filters?
The colored filters,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. More optic stuff. I don't think I really used that. And I think these are all that physics course, the physics and whatever
Physics and
engineering.
technology?
Yeah,
That
technology. That
equipment that we just took in case we needed it, but.
Yep. But it's
You
just
don't-
sitting there.
Okay.
Some more tubing here. That Van de Graaff generator sadly doesn't work. Maybe Glenn can try to repair it.
Where's the one that works?
I think the two on the end work.
Two on the end here? Okay.
Yeah. And then, here's the copper tube, or there's a longer one for the magnet demo that you can use. I don't know what this thing is called, but to wheel it to see how far you go for the speed of sound outside with the starter pistol. We use that. This we use once for rotational station lab, and then once when I stick this through it and I put a kid on a spinny chair and then spin this and then make them rotate it and then the chair spins the other way. It's very exciting. And I didn't talk about the bowling balls. That's the other big thing over here. I think the other things I don't use.
Those are more from PT, like the force tables and stuff that you don't use.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are probably a newer version of those other ones back there that you don't use.
I think they are. Yep. No, I just don't use any of that.
No. Okay.
And so I think.
And then the old station for the electrics. I think regular physics could use that a little bit, but that's about it. Plug things in and watch the meter go. And then bowling balls.
Yes.
Okay. Is that it?
I think that's everything.